The band is loud enough to shake the rafters, horns punching through the humid Honolulu air as Elvis Presley moves across the rehearsal stage, loose and focused, working through another run of the show. Cameras roll from every angle, cables snake across the floor, and producers watch their clipboards instead of the people. Then Elvis sees it. Just off to the side, near a lighting tower, a stagehand sways. Not dramatically, just enough to notice if you are paying attention. His face has lost its color, sweat soaking through his shirt as his knees soften like they might fold. A producer catches it too and immediately shakes his head, slicing a hand through the air. Keep going. No interruptions. The satellite window is locked. Every second costs money. Colonel Tom Parker stands in the aisle, arms crossed, eyes sharp, already calculating consequences before anyone speaks. This is not a rehearsal anymore. It is a machine in motion. Elvis hears metal scrape against metal. He sees the man reach for the tower and miss. His voice falters for half a beat, barely noticeable unless you know him. Then he stops singing. The band keeps playing for a moment, confused, instruments still ringing as sound fills a room that suddenly feels too quiet. No one claps. No one moves. The stagehand drops to one knee, trying to wave it off, trying to stay invisible. The room holds its breath, thousands of dollars burning with every second of silence. Elvis does not look at the producer. He does not look at Parker. He looks at the man on the floor. Slowly, deliberately, he lowers the microphone from his mouth. That pause stretches just long enough for everyone to realize what he has done. He has broken the flow. To understand why that single choice carries real danger, you have to understand what this show represents. Aloha from Hawaii is not just a concert. It is a global broadcast, a career statement, a financial juggernaut with no patience for weakness. Schedules rule everything. People are replaceable. Delays are unforgivable. Elvis reaches for the rehearsal microphone again, fingers tightening around it as if he is grounding himself. In the aisle, Colonel Parker starts walking toward the stage, his face calm, but his steps fast. Whatever happens next will decide who is really in control of this show. Aloha from Hawaii in 1973 is not a concert in the normal sense. It is a global wager with contracts attached to every minute and penalties buried in fine print. Sponsors expect certainty. Broadcasters expect obedience. Delays are treated like betrayal. Colonel Parker sold this show as a perfectly timed miracle, and he sold it to people who do not forgive mistakes. Elvis knows this. He also knows he needs this night. After years of headlines about excess and decline, this broadcast is supposed to remind the world that he still owns the stage. Parker needs something else entirely. He needs Elvis predictable. Behind the lights and cameras, the crew works under conditions no one watching at home will ever see. Long hours stretch into longer nights, the air heavy with heat and sweat as men climb ladders and tighten bolts with aching hands. Among them is the stagehand Elvis noticed earlier, a quiet presence who never complains, the kind of worker everyone relies on and no one really sees. He jokes through the pain, smiles when supervisors pass, and keeps moving because stopping means being replaced. Elvis sees more than most people think. Between takes, he asks if the man is all right and suggests getting him looked at. A supervisor answers quickly, almost rehearsed. There is no time. The schedule is tight. Everyone is tired. Push through. The words sound reasonable until Elvis hears them again and again, always followed by a look toward Parker's side of the arena. Later, in a low voice backstage, someone lets it slip. The stagehand asked earlier to step away. He was told to keep quiet, told there would be consequences if he slowed things down. The warning did not come from a foreman or a network rep. It came from Parker's chain. That changes the shape of the moment entirely. This is no longer about a man feeling faint. It is about the machine choosing momentum over people and daring anyone to challenge it. Elvis stands near the edge of the stage, listening to cues barked through headsets, watching Parker talk numbers with producers like nothing is wrong. He understands the message now. Sing, smile, and let the machine run. The band starts another count in, and the stagehand forces himself upright again. Elvis feels the walls closing in, exits disappearing one by one, and he realizes that if he lets this go, it will not stop here. Elvis does not make a scene right away. He starts with gestures small enough to look harmless, the kind that can be explained away as concern rather than rebellion. He asks his assistant to bring water to the side of the stage, then quietly suggests a medic stand nearby, just in case. The requests are met with tight smiles and quicker refusals. A floor boss steps in, voice low but firm, explaining that the network hates interruptions and medical presence looks bad on camera. Everything is about appearances. A message comes back through staff within minutes. Calm, professional, almost friendly. Stay on schedule. Stay on script. No surprises. Elvis does not need to ask who sent it. He cracks a joke into the microphone to loosen the room. Something easy that gets a laugh and buys a few seconds. On the surface, he looks relaxed. Underneath, his eyes never stop moving. He watches every ladder climb, every hand gripping a cable, every step the stagehand takes as he moves slower than before, breath shallow, shoulders tight with effort. Elvis times his patter so he can keep the man in view, stretching transitions without making it obvious. Between takes, Elvis walks closer and offers him a break, says it like a favor, like it is nothing. The stagehand shakes his head immediately, panic flashing across his face before he hides it behind a smile. He cannot stop. He cannot be the problem. Elvis understands that fear all too well. Another run-through starts. The band locks in. The cameras adjust. Elvis hears voices bleeding through headsets behind him, sharper now, less patient. He steps toward the edge of the stage just as Parker's voice carries from the aisle, quiet but unmistakable. He is speaking to the director, not bothering to lower his tone. Keep rolling if Elvis stops. The words land hard. This is not about safety. This is about control. Elvis feels the choice narrowing, the pressure compressing everything into a single line. If he pauses again, the machine will roll right over him. If he pushes forward, someone else might pay the price. He looks back at the stagehand, who wipes his face and forces himself up another rung, hands trembling just enough to notice. Elvis grips the microphone a little tighter, the joke already forming in his head, even as something colder settles in his chest. Because now he knows the rules have changed, and so has the risk. Dress rehearsal transforms the arena into something tighter and meaner. What should feel like preparation now feels like a countdown. Executives hover with stopwatches, calling out cue times and camera marks. Sponsors ring in from the mainland demanding updates, their voices sharp even through static. Colonel Parker moves constantly, drifting from group to group, reminding everyone in low tones what a delay costs, and who will be blamed when the bill comes due. High above the stagehand climbs again. His hands tremble as he grips the ladder, fingers slipping just enough to notice. He pauses for half a second, breath hitching, then keeps going. Stopping feels worse than falling. Stopping feels like getting fired. Elvis stretches a line of patter into a longer joke, pulling a laugh that gives him precious seconds to watch the rigging settle. He feels the room tightening around him. When he tries to call a brief pause, a manager is suddenly at his shoulder, voice hissing through clenched teeth. Any delay goes on you. The words are not loud, but they are heavy. This is the trap. Keep moving or carry the blame alone. Backstage, Elvis steps off between takes and waves a medic closer. The man takes one look at the stagehand climbing above them, eyes narrowed, jaw set. This is bad, he mutters, almost to himself. Heat exhaustion. Maybe worse. He starts to move forward and is stopped immediately by a supervisor who shakes his head, eyes darting toward Parker. Elvis feels something harden inside him. He turns back toward the stage as the band readies the next count in. Lights flare. Cameras glide into position. Up above, metal shifts against metal, a sound sharp enough to cut through the noise. A clank rings from the rafters, louder than it should be. Heads tilt upward across the arena. Someone swears under their breath. For a split second, the stagehand freezes, clinging to the ladder like it is the only thing keeping him upright. Elvis sees it all at once. The fear, the exhaustion, the lie that everything is fine. The count-in starts anyway. Elvis steps toward the microphone, heart pounding now, not from the music, but from the certainty settling in his gut. Whatever happens next is no longer about rehearsal or broadcast windows. It is about whether the machine gets to decide who breaks first. And above him, the ladder creaks again. The clank turns into a crash that rips through the arena. Metal bangs against the rigging and a body drops out of sight behind the lighting tower. Elvis does not hesitate. He lifts one hand, and the song dies instantly, band cutting off mid-bar as if someone pulled the plug on the room. The silence is total. Thousands of dollars in equipment hum softly while every head snaps toward the floor. Elvis steps forward and speaks into the rehearsal microphone, his voice calm but edged with something that does not invite debate. He points to the man on the ground and makes everyone see him. Not as a problem, not as a delay. As a person, he demands a doctor. He demands an ambulance. He says it clearly enough that executives, producers, and crew chiefs all hear the same thing at the same time. Someone tries to talk about schedule. Someone else mutters about satellite windows and insurance. Elvis cuts them off without raising his voice. He says he will not sing another note until help is on the way and the crew knows they will not be punished for stopping. The machine grinds against him for a moment, gears screaming quietly behind polite faces. Then Parker appears backstage, face tight with controlled anger. He talks about contracts, about consequences, about how much is riding on this. Elvis listens, eyes steady, hands still. When Parker finishes, Elvis answers just as evenly. Nobody dies for my show. Not tonight. Not ever. If the cameras stop, they stop. If the schedule breaks, it breaks. That is the line. Parker stares at him, searching for the crack, the place where fear usually lives. He does not find it. Minutes stretch. Then sirens wail outside the arena. Paramedics rush in, moving fast now, because the decision has already been made. The stagehand is lifted onto a stretcher, oxygen mask pressed to his face, his hand squeezing back weakly when someone grips it. Crew members stand frozen, unsure if they are allowed to breathe yet. Elvis watches until the doors close behind them. Rehearsal does not resume right away. People talk in low voices, glancing at Parker, then at Elvis. By the time the sun drops and the arena empties, something has shifted. The machine is still there, but it has been stopped once. By nightfall, the crew is whispering it to each other like a secret they are afraid to believe. Elvis stopped the machine. By morning, the story has already slipped out of anyone's control. It spreads through hallways, coffee lines, and quiet corners of the arena, changing shape with every telling. One crew member swears Elvis carried the stagehand himself. Another insists the network tried to bury the incident before it reached executives back on the mainland. Details blur, but everyone agrees on the part that matters. He stopped the machine. Elvis does not encourage the talk. While the rumors grow louder, his team does the opposite, moving quietly and without announcement. They check on the stagehand at the hospital. They speak to his family. Help is offered without paperwork, without press, without strings. No one is asked to say thank you. Word of that spreads too, softer but heavier. Executives respond the only way they know how, by worrying out loud. Lawyers ask about liability. Producers debate what should be documented and what should disappear. Meetings are held behind closed doors. Colonel Parker listens to all of it, nodding, calculating, already thinking 3 steps ahead. This is not about gratitude. This is about control, and control slipped yesterday. Rehearsal resumes, but the atmosphere has changed. People move more carefully. Supervisors hesitate before barking orders. Ladders are steadied. Breaks are actually taken. There is a new fear in the air, not of punishment, but of being the next line that forces a choice. Everyone knows now that Elvis will stop everything if pushed far enough. That knowledge is dangerous. As the satellite feed creeps closer, tension tightens again. The schedule is tighter than ever, every second accounted for. Elvis runs through the set with focus, hitting marks, following cues, giving no one an excuse to challenge him. He looks calm, too calm. Parker watches from the side, waiting for the tell. Minutes before the broadcast window opens, Elvis steps off stage and asks for a change to the rundown. Just one, small on paper, unscripted. The room stills as the request moves through the chain, bouncing from producer to director to executive. No one says yes. No one says no. They all look at Parker, then back at Elvis, realizing too late that the machine may not be the one holding leverage anymore. Broadcast night arrives with no room left to negotiate. Every cue is locked. Every camera move has been drilled until muscle memory takes over. The satellite window waits for no one. Colonel Parker watches from the wings, eyes fixed on Elvis for any sign of drift, any hint that yesterday's defiance might spill onto live air. Elvis steps into the lights calm and centered, the roar of the crowd washing over him like a tide he has known his whole life. He sings like the world is listening, because it is. His voice is steady. His timing is perfect. The machine hums again, smooth and efficient, rolling forward on a knife edge. In the control room, producers relax by degrees, marking boxes, checking clocks. Between songs, Elvis pauses just long enough to feel the room lean in. It is a pause that means something, but not enough to trip alarms. He smiles, thanks the audience, and then adds a few words that are not on any card or screen. He keeps his tone gentle, respectful, almost casual. He dedicates the moment to the people who make the show possible but never stand in the spotlight. To the crew who work through heat and exhaustion so the music can happen. He does not name anyone. He does not explain. He does not have to. In the control room, voices spike all at once. Is that in the rundown? Do we cut? Do we write it? Parker stiffens, waiting for escalation that never comes. Elvis does not flinch. He lets the words land and then moves on, easing back into the next song like nothing unusual happened. The broadcast continues, clean and uninterrupted, the dedication sliding through the feed without leaving fingerprints. By the final note, the tension has burned itself out. Applause floods the arena. Elvis bows, waves, and exits without ceremony. Backstage, away from cameras and congratulations, he asks the only question that matters to him. How is he doing? The answer is cautious but hopeful. Elvis nods, makes sure help is still reaching the family, then lets the moment pass without comment. No press release, no statement, no victory lap, just quiet follow-through. Later, long after the lights cool and the feed goes dark, the crew talks among themselves. That is when they decide what to call him. Not because he sang well, not because the show went smoothly, but because when the machine demanded everything, Elvis Presley chose a life instead.